Morning, VC. All right, got some VCLT in this week, so we're going to show you those records. The first record that I got in this first package, though, is one I won in an auction from Rob the Waxed. He did one of those classical auctions with Michael Poetry on Plastic. I always tune in just to see if any of the weird oddball stuff shows up. And Rob had this one. I think this is from '62. This is Feldman Brown on Time Records. This is a stereo original copy. And so I won this for, I think, around 40 bucks. I've only ever seen it once in a shop. It was on the wall at Harvest Records in Asheville, North Carolina. They wanted, it was 200 or 250. It was an extremely large amount. I think that it was a mono, though, original they had. I don't know if that makes a difference, but I just know I passed on it with that price. And it's one when I did check it out back then, I wasn't quite into it as much as I'm kind of into it now. Avant classical, Morton Feldman's on the A side conducting, and Earl Brown's conducting on the B. Feldman, I believe, was a professor at the University of Buffalo. So it's durations 1 through 4 on the A side. You got a group of Don Hammond on alto flute, Don Butterfield on tuba, David Tudor piano, Philip Krauss vibes, Matthew Raimondi on violin, and David Sawyer on cello. Solid group. Again, this is early stuff, written 60 to 61. Excellent. And then the B side is Earl Brown. Earlier written material from 52, 55, and 59, the 3 different movements, basically, if you want to call them that. Earl Brown studied some under John Cage. He was friends with John, I believe, and inspired by Boulez and the like. And you kind of hear that in this. So there's music for violin, cello, and piano. Then there's music for cello and piano. You scale down the group. And then Photograph 1, another scaled down group. Same musicians on both sides. And it's a gatefold. Not a whole lot of copies out there, I don't think. And you can probably get a good deal on this, though. Because, I mean, it's an Avant classical record. Not everybody's going to know they need to be charging an arm and a leg for it. But this is a minty copy. So I was happy to get it. Add that to the classical section here. But Rob threw in, he always throws in a record collector news, which is cool. It was interesting. Vinyl Piper has an ad in there trying to find some rare records. And I thought I'd found him one for a minute because the one Vertigo there, the 666 record, was on the wall at Pharmacy Records in Greenville, but I think it was a U.S. copy. He's looking for a UK. But I'll keep looking, man. But Rob threw this in the package. This is a Deutsche Grammophon box set. It's an original U.S. version of the Berlin Philharmonic, conducted by Herbert von Karajan. Beethoven Symphony No. 9 and Symphony No. 8. So it's a 2 LP box. Did not have this. I only had one record of Beethoven, again from the same conductor, doing violin concertos, which is really good. I really like it, so we'll be stoked to check this out. I didn't have any of the symphonies. Next, I got a package. Oh, and there's another record I got to pull that came in that package. If I can find it now. I think it's right here. Yeah, here we go. Dom sent me some VCLT from Seeking a Thread. This is a killer package. He threw in the Black Hippies. Afro rock record from probably the early 70s. Yeah. This is a 2014 reissue on Academy LPs or something like that. Or maybe Alps is the label. I guess that's short for Academy LPs. I don't know. But yeah, this is some dope stuff. Nigeria, 1977 maybe. I'm going to show you the label. This is a cool label. Some dope stuff. Did not have this. So, added that to my African section here. Oh, this is a poster. Look at that. This is a poster insert. That's freaking badass. I just noticed that. Very cool. I know Dom's been upgrading his reissues. I wonder if he got an original of this. That'd be insane. But he also threw in test pressings of all his band's records, Material Objects, which is freaking very cool to have. And the new record's in there too, which is excellent because it's not out yet till June. But I'm going to show you all my Material Object stuff, including what he sent. So first was the Content vs. Carrier EP. This was pressed at Softwax Record Pressing in Philly. And this is what their test pressings look like. So there's that one. And of course I've got an original copy of Content vs. Carrier, and I really dig this. There's some Sonic Youth influence type stuff on this one, I'd say. Some other influences come through. I have this really cool insert. And this is this version. I think there's 2 versions of the vinyl of this. Dom, correct me if I'm wrong. There were not many pressed of the other, or maybe I have the one that wasn't pressed much. I'm not sure. But I think there were two pressings of this one. But this is really good stuff. Everybody here knows Dom. And by now you should know Material Objects. They're touring right now. Brandon Faust in the Head just got to see him perform in Buffalo. And I think they played last night in Rochester. And I think they were going to play Hamilton tonight, but I think they had to cancel because, we hate Canada now. If you cross the border, you may never return, and vice versa. Everybody's going to get disappeared to Louisiana or whatever we're doing. Or maybe they'll get charged a 25% tariff for being Americans, just in general. And that goes both ways too. I don't know what world we're living in. It's some fucking dumb shit. Material Objects Passing Through EP was the next release, and I really love this one. And this is the test press for it, also done at Softwax. And the lead singer and bassist from the band Rid-O-Me works at this pressing plant. Could have been involved in pressing these, which is very cool because I love that band. They tour with like Kowloon, Walled City, and the like. Yeah, and then of course you have the official release, which is really cool. This kind of folds out, and the record kind of sits in the middle. There's got all really cool inserts. There's the record. Cool labels. Nice inner sleeve. Dom, being a record guy, knows how to make a record. It has I think a sticker in here. There's a sticker, Material Objects. And this really cool insert. I think his drummer took this photograph overseas. That's what he told me. And yeah, and then picture somewhere in the Ithaca area in the woods, which reminds me of home, which I love. In the fall. Favorite time of year is the fall in upstate New York when the leaves are changing. It's quite a awesome place to be. Some great parks you can go to, like especially heading out towards the Jamestown way. Although, do we have any park rangers left? I guess it's just you can go there and do whatever you want now. It's free for all. And then we have the special ones that he made. I think this is marked one of, how many did he make of these? These are handmade, 1 of 13, so I got number 11 of 13. They pasted on the cover on an old album. I think this album used to be Roger Williams with these hands. And they had just a few copies left of the record, so that's why they probably didn't have covers, but he wanted to get these out, so I got another copy. And then I also did buy the reel-to-reel because the story of how this was made was really cool. He did a video on it and all those things. And somewhere in upstate New York, I have a reel-to-reel player at my grandmother's old house that my brother now has. So this can be played at some point. There's the reel-to-reel of Material Objects Passing Through. Was one of my albums. Well, it's an EP, but it was one of my records of the year when this came out. Really love the video for Harness. I'll leave a link to that video. Great video. Driving along in the Ithaca area, in the Finger Lakes area. And then, of course, I got the test pressing because he threw in all the test presses of the new record. This one's going to be pressed at Burlington Record Pressing in Albany, New York. And you got, it says, Dave, thanks for always supporting the band. Glad you liked what you heard so far. Here's the entire LP. Hope you like the sounds in their entirety, Dom. This is fucking... Yeah, this is going to be up there. It's some badass stuff. Some of the stuff reminds me of Shellac, and it's just ironic that they recorded this at Electrical Audio in Chicago. And here's what the test pressing looks on this one. And I've already ordered the vinyl and the CD. Again, I think June release. So yeah, thanks, Dom. It's really cool to have these test pressings. Killer. Everybody take care. Peace.